Hey everybody, Kirk here with Space Pickle Designs, and today we have a tutorial from our new series called Pinterest Made Me Do It. And I was looking online for some inspiration. I kind of wanted to get into the spring vibe, and I saw this necklace, which I'll splash up onto the screen right now, as well as the account information. And yeah, I couldn't find the tutorial for it, but I want to just recreate it as much as possible. And so we made a bigger, chunkier version and elevated it in a couple ways. Using color design and some, different beads. And so yeah, we made it from this dainty little thing to this big old chunky mama. And so yeah, that's just through the use of different types of beads. I believe they probably used 11 O's and 6 O's, or 6mm gemstones. And so anyways, the technique would be the same for both. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the supplies that I'm going to use are 7 sets of 8mm gemstone beads. And just to shake up the design a little bit, I decided to go in rainbow order. And I'm going to start with a hot pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then a black here. For each side, you are going to need 6 spacer beads. You can actually use gemstones instead of these spacer beads, but still around an 8 to 10mm bead is what you're going to need. So I'm going to use a total of 12. You can use a different amount depending on the length that you'd like. I have some findings here. I have an extender chain. I have a lobster claw. I have 2 wire guards, which I am going to use because I'm going to be using wildfire thread and I want it to hold up over time. I have 2 jump rings. Those are a 6mm, 6-7mm. And then I have a head pin because I am using an extender chain. I will be making a little dangle for the end of the extender chain. I also have a stop bead that is outside of my the colors that I am using. I'm going to use a 0.008 wildfire, and I am going to use the pink one so that you can see it. And then I'm going to use a bunch of 8O seed beads. These are Tohos. But honestly, you could probably get away with using any craft store 8Os, check 8Os. You don't have to really use your good ones for this because it doesn't really need to be precise. So just keep that in mind. I'm also using a size 10 beading needle, and I'm going to use some pliers to be able to squish the end of my wildfire to get it through the eye of the needle. I am going to use probably a lighter as well as some scissors. To get this party started, I am going to get about a wingspan and a half of thread. You can use however long you want. You probably will be adding some length to it regardless, so just make it comfortable for you. If you don't like chasing around long tails of thread, then don't do that. So I did squish the end of this thread out so that it will go right into my needle. And I'm going to put it about halfway down, a little less than halfway down my thread here. And then what I'm going to do is put my stop bead on. And so I'm just going to push that all the way to the bottom. I'm going to leave a healthy tail about probably close to 10 inches. And then I'm going to go through my stop bead twice. This is just because I want to make sure I have something on there pretty sturdy so that it's not moving around on me. All right, so this is a really easy pattern from what it looks like off the inspiration pic. And so we're going to use a bunch of these 8Os. And I hope I have enough. If not, we're in trouble. We'll have to improvise or start over. Maybe you will not even see this video if that happens. So I have a whole bunch of 8Os out here. I'm going to start off with 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I like to double check by doing that, just putting up in counts of 5 all the way down. Then you get your first spacer bead. In the reference photo, there is like a graduated spacer bead. So I think they use like maybe a 6 for 3 of them and then an 8 for the last 2. So it like gradually gets bigger. I'm not too worried about that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, we split them up into 5s. Bring them all the way down. Okay. And then another spacer bead. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Another spacer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I love this pink thread, by the way. I think it's so cute. Okay, another spacer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. And then we have another spacer. Then I'm going to add 1. Okay. And then I'm going to add, so this is just to emphasize that we're adding 11 essentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to put on our first gemstone bead, and for me it's going to be this hot pink one. Okay, and again I'm going to go 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we pull that down, and what's going to happen is we are going to go back through that first bead. So the first bead or the 11th, that extra bead, right? And so what we're just gonna do, I'm gonna go top down, so closest to the stopper bead, if you can see that. And this is where your thread tension is pretty important, okay? Because it's gonna be a little wily on you. And so I want this thread to be the one that goes down like this, okay? All right. And so this is why like the stop bead is so important, and just making sure that everything is gonna get tightened. So we still have some looseness here. Let's go around and reinforce it. That'll help a lot with that tightness. Okay. Through that gemstone, beautiful color. Through the 10 on the top that we added, and then again through, so we're through the top 10 here, and then that extra bead that we added is our 11th bead. Now really, you guys, I'm just guessing at our pattern because all I have is one single picture. I could not find a pattern, so we're just, this is like, you know, Pinterest, can we do it? So I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce just the one side again, because we are going to pass through these beads quite a few times. And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to come out of this gemstone bead. Okay, now here is where we have to make sure that we are keeping our kind of our pattern. And what I mean by that is, okay, so we do another 8-0, another gemstone, an 8-0, a gemstone, an 8-0, a gemstone, an 8-0, a gemstone. That's our last one. Okay, okay. And then we're doing our 8-0 again. We're going back through that gemstone bead. We're gonna reinforce this. So just reinforcing just means I'm gonna pass through these beads again to make sure that they are tight. I like how it's already taking like a kind of a whimsical flower shape. This is like a little bit of a play off a right angle weave. So I've seen designs using right angle weave, so that's like 4. We would do 4 beads here instead of 5. And then we would just use different sizes to create the drape. And what I mean by drape is, this is why it's important to know your top side versus your bottom side, because our top side, we are only going to be having 1 bead at the top. We're going to connect our design from here and here, and so there will be 2 exposed beads on the bottom. That extra bead will help create that drape that we're looking for. So just for your old time's sake, you know, love my bead weaving history. I am the queen of reinforcement. I just think it makes so much difference. I am going to reinforce this design one more time. I love a good reinforcement. And so take your time. You want to make sure that your piece lasts, and especially with these big old gemstone beads, sometimes you don't know the drill hole quality. So we are back where we started, coming out of this gemstone that we have attached on this side. So what we want to do is we want to work our thread coming out of this bottom part of this gemstone. So I'm going to keep the work straight to where you would have it on your bead mat. I'm going to go through the 8-0, gemstone 8-0. Now I'm going to go out of the gemstone. Now, this is exactly where we want it. So we are in the right place. We're coming out of this was our first, then we made it around, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, essentially our 4th gemstone. Or you skip 1 on the top, you skip 2 on the bottom, and you'll be out. This is the one that we want to come out of. So we want to pick up 10 8-0s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, pick up our next color of gemstone. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check that. Bring it back down. And we are going to go into the other side of that same gemstone that we started with coming out of. Okay. So we were coming out of the bottom of this one. We are going to make a loop and go back into the top. Okay. Don't pick up that 8-0 that's on the loop. Just make sure you are going through the gemstone and the gemstone only at this point. All right, so now you can pick this up in your hand to give you better access to reinforcing, because we are going to reinforce this. So by reinforcing, I just mean going through that thread path. Go through that gemstone. We're going to go through all 10 of these. Be careful to miss that 8-0 in the round from the previous little flower that we did. And now we are going to go back through the gemstone, and once we go back through this gemstone, you'll see that thread path tighten up. Okay. So we are going to, again, work ourselves all the way back to this orange gemstone. I got all 10 of those 8-0s in that pass, and now we have our orange gemstone. So you want to lay your necklace down and make sure you know which direction you're working out of. Okay. So in order to finish this flower, we do an 8-0, orange, 8-0, orange, 8-0, orange, 8-0, orange, 8-0. Okay, we're forming that flower again. We want to miss these 8-0s, skip those guys. We want to go in through the gemstone only and come out of the gemstone only at this point. And now we have our second little flower. And this is it's coming together so cute, y'all. So as you can see, this is all willy-nilly. If you flop it just a little bit, it's gonna come loose. So what am I? The queen of reinforcement. Absolutely. I love reinforcing so much. It really just transforms a piece. If you are impatient and you are a bead weaver, I don't know what to tell you. I'm telling you, like, these little steps like this is what's going to make your piece last. I'm going to reinforce one more time. It may be a little bit of overkill for this third time here, but you know what? I got time. I got nothing but time. That's not true. It's really not true. All right, so we reinforced. We came out of this top, this gemstone here out the top. And this is our top side. You want to remember that, right? So when we're trying to get into position for the next addition, the next round, we want to go through the next 8-0, gemstone, 8-0, gemstone. Okay, then we'll be in good position to start our next component. So 8-0, gemstone, 8-0, and then we're gonna go out of the gemstone. All right, so we are going to repeat this process. I'll just do this process one more time, and then I'll let you go to make your focal pieces. I'll get off camera, I'll stop yapping at you, right? And I will meet you at the end of the focal pieces. But let's go ahead and get our 10 beads on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check them. Got it. We put on a yellow bead because that's the next gemstone in my lineup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check them. Okay. We're curling back around into that orange gemstone that we came out of. Gemstone only. Please do not pick up those 8-0s in that round. Okay. What am I? Queen of reinforcement. So we're going to go through all 10 8-0s on the bottom. Through the yellow gemstone. We can pick up that 8-0. That's fine because we're going to go through them anyway. Through all 9 of the rest of the 8-0s here. Down through that orange bead from the previous round. And then let's go back through our 10 8-0s on the bottom. And then our gemstone. Okay, so this is just copy, paste, repeat. Remember, keep in mind what side is your top side. What side is your bottom side? Your bottom side will have 2 exposed gemstones. 2 here, 2 here. Your top side will only have 1. Make sure it matches all the way through. I'm going to do 7 flowers. So this is going to be the start of my 3rd flower. I'm going to do the rest of the 7, and I'll meet you back. All right, so I'm at my last little component here, and I did 7 flowers total. And again, this is my top side, this is my bottom side, and I'm coming out again on that this bead right here. So what I want to do is pick up 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, plus 1, and I'm just doing this to show, like, hey, we have a midpoint here. It's going to be a 1, and then we have 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're gonna pull that down. So in total, we added 21 beads, okay? The gemstone that we're coming out of, we do want to go back in on the opposite side. So we're making a round. And this one, there was a bend in my wildfire here from where my needle was. So I want to make sure I reinforce this at least 3 times. Okay. this is our second pass. Let's go through it one more time. This is such a fun, like, beginner's project if you want to get into bead weaving or beading with a needle. All right, so we've gone through 3, and we're going to go up. We're going to come out of the 11th one, the 11th seed bead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9, 10, 11. We're coming out of that 11th bead. And this is where we start going back up the side. So we have this. Okay, bring it down. We have our spacer, whatever bead that you chose. I just have this metal one that I thought looked really, really cool. So we have our bead there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 beads down. Another spacer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then spacer. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Spacer. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Spacer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Spacer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Spacer. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And that's the end of the seed beads. So I am going to measure this necklace, but let me go ahead and clean my seed beads up. Okay, so I did make some adjustments. I don't know what went wrong, but I put on this side, and you probably noticed it in the video, but I only put on 5 beads on this side, and then I put 7 spacer beads on this side, which was like, that's wild, right? But it turned out it was too long anyway, so I actually just removed 2 of these beads along with their 8-ohs, and so I am just using 10 8-ohs and then 5, like a set of 10 8-ohs and a spacer bead 5 times on each side, and that gives me a 20-inch necklace. Now with the extender chain and all that jazz, it's going to be closer to like a 22, so it'll be like a 20.5 to like a 22-inch necklace, which I think is pretty much a perfect length, because you don't want this to be too chokery. You want there to be some drape to it, as we can see here, and I'm so excited, you guys. It is so cute. But what we are going to do, we are going to go ahead and take those wire guardians that we had. Okay, let's zoom you in just a little bit for that. And we'll get the wire guardians going. So we have this little cutie here, and we're gonna pass our wire through. Okay, gonna bring our wire guardian down and go back through the other channel on the wire guardian. You can see that. Just do this separately. Just take the time to kind of do this by itself. Okay. We can start bringing our cord down. And what we're going to do is we're going to reinforce by taking our thread. So this is the working side thread. That's where our thread's coming out. And we just go back down through these 8/0s. Now it's going to be a little squirrely up front because we are not tight. But just make sure you're not skipping any beads. Okay, because we will tighten it up. At this point, I will like to squish the wire guardian just a little bit so that it's not rubbing up against that 8/0 that too much. It's kind of like what we like right there. All right, so we're gonna take our thread down. This is our duty here. Okay. So we got to go down all the way to our joint when we start talking about like where our flowers were starting, and that's what I call the joint. Okay, so we're going back all down through our 5 segments of 10 8/0s and a spacer, whatever spacer you chose. I have these metallic ones here, and we're wiggling our needle through. All right, after this last metallic bead, we are passing through the joint, okay? This is where we want to make sure we pull tight, and we're making sure that there's no slack. You see this working thread right here? You want to go through the other side. You don't want to go back through this side. You want to reinforce it by going through the opposite side of where that thread is coming out initially. Like this, okay? All right, before I pull it super tight, I'll show you that there's like a loop that forms, so you will have a thread on both sides of that bead. And then what we do here, we go ahead and reinforce again. I want as many passes as possible. So we have quite a substantial amount of tail left. I did have to add thread once. I will add a thread adding tutorial from Gina Gems, or Gina's Gem Creations, her YouTube channel, because it's the one that I use. I have used it for like 10 years now. And so we are going to just go ahead and reinforce. This is what creates some longevity in your piece, especially if you love the piece and you know you're gonna wear it. Okay. So when I get back up here, I want to make sure I'm going through the channel in this wire guardian. Okay. Take your pliers to use them if you need to. Okay, we're in that channel. Go to the opposite side. Go down a couple seed beads. Get that angle right. Okay. We may only be able to do 2 passes with this wire guard. And so I'm gonna feed this down back to the joint. I know this is a little boring to watch, but I do want to show you, like, hey, this, I really do reinforce a lot, especially when it comes to these single strand designs where there's not a lot of weaving on this end. You're just relying on passes of thread to create that strength. All right, we're down at the joint again. Sometimes you gotta wiggle to get that needle through. I'm gonna go through my 8/0s here and then we'll wiggle it through the spacer. All right, so when you're coming out of the spacer, you'll see if you look closely that there's 2 paths coming out of one side and only 1 path coming out of the other. Make sure you give that another little reinforcement. So you should have 2 paths going through each side of that bead. Okay. So I'm gonna come out here. I am gonna start tying knots, and I'm just doing overhand knots, nothing crazy. This should be our last pass up. So I'm just doing the single overhand knot for this. Okay. Keep in mind what direction you were going, continue along that path. I'm gonna go over, make a loop. Right here, tighten it up. Go through a couple of these beads. Okay. I'm gonna try to risk it and go through this thread path one more time up here, and then I'll tie it off. I just want to see if I can get 3 passes through this wire guardian. I'm feeling froggy, like I should have played the lottery, but 3 is my happy place. I don't like 2. I don't like 2. I'll do 2 if I have to. But 3 is my happy place. Okay, got it on this side. Let's see if we can get it through this side. Awesome. All right, so let's tie an overhand knot here. So just make sure that you are knotting where your thread is coming out so you're not creating an extra thread path. You know when you create a thread path because your wire or your bead thread will be exposed. And this is why I love using 8/0s as well, because you can put so many passes of thread through. I love that so much. Okay, and then I'm gonna go through, extend my thread through a couple of these beads, come out the middle of this stack, and then I'm gonna cut it off. We have a little bit of a tail here. I did that on purpose. I do want to take a lighter to it, kind of stuff that down. Okay, so on this side, I have a little bit of thread left over, probably about 2.5 feet. So what I'm gonna do, let me back you up. So here's our finished end on this side. What I'm gonna do here is take this stop bead off. Be very careful with our beads on here, and I'm gonna do the Gina trick to extend this chain, or to extend this bead thread to this one. So essentially we're kind of fusing it, not exactly. If you know what fusing is, it's not exactly that, but in a philosophical sense, so to speak, we are fusing these two together. And I just tied a square knot, and then what we do here, cut the tails, and it creates little balls. So you want to create the smallest little balls as possible. You pull it together and you get this little knot. Now, I will, again, I'm gonna put that video down below so you guys can see it up close. She does a really good job with that. I just kind of wanted to show you that process with the that knot. So now that I have extended my bead thread, I'm going to do the exact same thing with our wire guardian here on this side, going back to the joint, reinforcing a few times. I trust that you know how to do that. You can rewind the video if you need to see that up close again. And then I will meet you back after I've cut off my thread and we're all good to go with our component, and we will add the findings. Oh my God, I love her so much. Okay. I'm trying not to get too excited. Okay, I'm trying not to get too excited. Let me get 2 pairs of pliers out. Sorry for the noise. I do want this side to be my right side, so that's where I'm gonna put my lobster claw clasp. Just zoom in just a little. So again, I mean, you've probably seen this before, but I thought I would just bring it home, go through the whole process here. And I'm gonna put on my lobster. It's so super cute, you guys. So stinking cute. And then on the opposite side, we are going to put our extender chain on. And now it's time to make the dangle. I thought about just doing a couple seed beads. Maybe 3. Okay. This is just a very tiny, really small gauge bald head pin. And I'm just gonna make a little loop here. Before I close the loop, I am just gonna feed it on to the end of the chain. Okay. I'm gonna hold it closed and then take our other pliers and just wrap it around. Okay. Get off the excess. Tuck the little piece. And you're done. Oh man, we're done officially. Look at this. Okay, Pinterest, did you do it? Did we do it? Look at her. Does it look pretty good? I don't know. I think it looks good. I think we got the vibe across, right? Okay, so Pinterest made me do this. And so let me know what you thought about this project down in the comments below. Did it look like Pinterest? Did it give the vibe? Do you think they were using smaller beads? What was it? Was theirs better? Was mine better? What could I have done to make this project better? This is a very easy base design that you could put little tendrils of leaves coming off of. You could put little crystal accents, but thought I would keep it simple, kind of true to that project. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with her, especially for the first try. So yeah, Pinterest made me do it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below, and I hope you're staying safe and well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.